Ladies and gentlemen, take a deep breath. Doesn't the air feel cheaper? Trump just won a week ago. It's cheaper to breathe. It's cheaper to wake up. It's cheaper to go to sleep. Even when I turn on the faucet for water in my house, that feels cheaper. Now, Trump is making waves, not just in Washington, D.C., but through the entire United States of America. Trump is actually putting people like, okay, we're about to get into what is happening, how the Democrats are reacting. We're about to get into how Russia is reacting. We're about to get into how, when you look at his nominations, some of the stuff that is happening. And I'm going to be showing you guys just some videos of the people he's nominating. This is before he nominated them, right? And why I think they are great picks. Now, first thing I want to show you is this. We're going to fly right into it. New York City Democrat Mayor Eric Adams says he wants to work with Trump on immigration reform. Not only that, but I read the entire article. He actually said, I want to help Trump deport all the illegals that Kamala Harris brought into my state, into my city. He wants to clean up New York. Most Democrats with a brain cell, they want a safe city. They want a safe country. They want safe schools and safe sidewalks. They want the drugs to be out of here. Mayor Eric Adams, now I know why you've been indicted by the feds. Same reason Trump was indicted by the feds, because you stood up. Because Eric Adams is the only mayor in the United States who's also a Democrat that spoke up against illegal immigration. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure to give the videos thumbs up right now. Thank you. Make sure you are subscribed. Share the video, the live, with a friend or two. Let's continue. We're going to hop onto Twitter X, and we're going to go down the list of some of the people Trump is nominating for his cabinet. First of all, look, I want to take a look at this picture. This is yesterday when Donald Trump was at the White House with Joe Biden. There is not a single soul that has so much joy like Joe Biden. Trump's victory gave Joe Biden the joy that Kamala promised but could never deliver. Yeah. First of all, DNI. Tulsi Gabbard, right? Trump wants her to be department. What's it called? Here. Why did it just flat on my head? Tulsi Gabbard. Okay. So how did it just slip my mind? National defense. He wants her to be in charge of national defense.
Here are the undeniable
And we're
facts.
going to go through a few of Trump's nominations and videos that they've made and things they've said and how they have acted. Especially, we're going to talk about Matt Gaetz, because Matt Gaetz is going to have out of non-elected people, more power than anybody in the United States to prosecute, to indict, to investigate. Good. Let's all remember. Let's all go back to midterms when McCarthy wanted to be Speaker of the House. It was Gaetz who stood against the fake news. It was Gaetz who stood against the Democrats. It was Gaetz who stood against the rhinos. It was Gaetz who even stood up to a phone call of Trump and said, Trump, you don't understand. This dude's corrupt. The people gave us majority in the House, not for us to just put McCarthy. He's not going to do anything. And Gaetz was right. Gaetz fought for Trump against We're about to get into it. Let's listen to Tulsi Gabbard. This is her giving us the truth before anyone else did.
There are 25 to 30 U.S. funded biolabs in Ukraine. According to the US government, these biolabs are conducting research on dangerous pathogens. Ukraine is in an active war zone with widespread bombing, artillery, and shelling, and these facilities, even in the best of circumstances, could easily be compromised and release these deadly pathogens. Now, like COVID, these pathogens know no borders. If they are inadvertently or purposely breached or compromised, they will quickly spread all throughout Europe, the United States, and the rest of the world, causing untold suffering and death.
Now, why do I like Tulsi Gabbard? Because she's ready to speak and warn the American people about real threats to our nation, real threats that can happen to our people. Next, we're going to look at this amazing video of Matt Gaetz, your future attorney general. Now, right now, we are seeing Republicans, Democrats in the House, in the Senate, standing up and saying, well, no, we're not going to confirm him. This is a joke. Do you know why? Because they fear this man. But he already gave his letter of resignation to Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson. Mike Johnson endorsed Matt Gaetz for attorney general. And it looks like Governor Ron DeSantis, because if a senator is, passes away or is promoted by the president of the United States, the governor of that state is responsible to handpick anybody he wants to be the senator in that, to replace, because Senator Marco Rubio is going. So Marco Rubio is going to be replaced by Laura Trump. So not only Matt Gaetz, boom, he's being endorsed. Then we have Marco Rubio, who we're about to talk about. Marco Rubio is going to be replaced by Laura Trump. Now, let's watch this video. This is a great video when he was fighting McCarthy's leadership in the House.
And when it comes to how those raise money, I take no lecture on asking patriotic Americans to weigh in and contribute to this fight from those who would grovel and bend knee for the lobbyists and special interests who own our leadership, who have, boo all you want, who have hollowed out this town and have borrowed against the future of our future generations. I'll be happy to fund my political operation through the work of hardworking Americans, $10 and $20 and $30 at a time, and you all keep showing up at the lobbyist fundraisers and see how that goes for you. I reserve.
You see that, ladies and gentlemen? He's not afraid to stand there with the cameras pointed at him. Millions of Americans will see that and call out the people right next to him on both sides, behind him and in front of him, and say, this room is filled with people that are bought with lobby money, with special interest money. This room is full of corrupt crooks that have betrayed the American people for personal financial gain. I love Matt Gaetz. Matt Gaetz is doing the Lord's work. By the way, before I continue, ladies and gentlemen, right now is a fantastic time to invest your money in gold and silver. I want to give a big shout out to Matthew Geiger, the owner of Verity Metals. He's a personal good friend of mine. I personally believe he played a big role in all the Trump ads that played here in Arizona. He donated a lot of money to the Arizona Trump campaign. He wanted to focus on here and on this state, and he donated so that ads were able to run. There were TV ads, internet ads, and he cares about the patriot community. That is why he walked away from a big call center gold and silver group and started his own from the very beginning of the process to the end. You are on the phone with Matthew Geiger, the owner of the company. Sometimes you'll even get me if I'm next to him. But he protects your IRAs, 401ks, your cash retirements, and your savings through constitutional and biblical money, and that is gold and silver. Here I have a roll of American Silver Eagles. I've been slowly but surely buying some because I believe the dollar is going to crash sooner or later. The banking system is corrupt. It is bought by special interests. It is owned by out-of-country bankers. And we need to get back to independence and the Constitution of the United States, that the American dollar is in gold and silver. Go to veritymetals.com or call him today at 480-717-9081. Mention me, get free silver on qualifying orders. Links down below in the description. Let's continue. Now, next person we're going to go to, Marco Rubio, right? Marco Rubio, I wasn't like a huge fan at first, right? Marco Rubio, here, I want to see if there's an update. I'm waiting on a story to drop, but I don't want to just spill the beans yet. So Trump wants Marco Rubio to be his Secretary of State, right? He endorsed him for Secretary of State. Now, Trump and Marco Rubio, they have a past where they argued, they didn't like each other, right? They were going back and forth. But this video right here of him pressing the Secretary of State under Obama and Biden about biolabs in Ukraine, I like it. This is where I was like, I like it.
Have a minute left. Let me ask you, does Ukraine have chemical or biological weapons?
Ukraine has.
By the way, I shouldn't use the word hate, but this lady right here, this demon walking in the flesh, Victoria Nuland, who was in Ukraine downtown in 2014 handing out cookies to the Nazis, who has covered up biolabs in China, in Ukraine. She's a demon.
Has biological research facilities.
Oh, biological research.
Which, in fact, we are now quite concerned Russian troops, Russian forces may be seeking to gain control of. So we are working with the Ukrainians on how they can prevent any of those research materials from falling into the hands of Russian forces should they approach.
I'm sure you're aware that the Russian propaganda groups are already putting out there all kinds of information about how they've uncovered a plot by the Ukrainians to release biological weapons in the country and with NATO's coordination. If there's a biological or chemical weapon incident or attack inside of Ukraine, is there any doubt in your mind that 100% it would be the Russians that would be behind it?
There is no doubt in my mind, Senator, and it is classic Russian technique to blame on the other guy.
Blame on the other guy what? Listen here, big lady. We were told Ukraine is this innocent, good guy. There's biolabs. There's Nazis. They've been killing their own people in Donbass. I'm not on the side of Russia. Screw Russia. I don't care about Russia. But I don't care about Ukraine even more. Even more. And we, my tax dollars, fund biolabs in Ukraine. This is why I like Marco Rubio. He was not afraid to ask the tough questions. Tells me he's not bought by the same special interests that bought Victoria Nuland. Because she was covering up. You could tell how uncomfortable this made her. And last, but ladies and gentlemen, certainly not least, we all know Kamala Harris was the border czar. We all know that she was responsible and frankly is still responsible until noon, January 20th, for the border. She's responsible for the invasion at the border. She's responsible for all the drugs, the death, the destruction, the human trafficking, all of it. I'm going to play a clip, and it's going to go between border czar Kamala and Trump's new border czar. Let's get it.
Up with education, down with deportation. Up with education, down with deportation.
I got a message.
That's
to the
my
millions of
border czar
illegal
right
aliens
there.
that Joe Biden's releasing our country in violation of federal law. You better start packing now.
Yeah. That's my borders are not her, but the guy.
We are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making.
I hear a lot of people say, the talk of a mass deportation is racist. It's threatening to the immigrant community. It's not threatening to the immigrant community. It should be threatening to the illegal immigrant community.
Is there a way to carry out mass deportation without separating families?
There is.
Of course there is. Families can be deported together.
It is not an emergency. We are not facing a crisis.
We have a president of the United States who has created a fiction about a crisis at the border, and he has held up the United States government and its workers around his vanity project called a wall.
To the criminal cartels in Mexico. You smuggle enough fentanyl across this country to kill 148,000 young Americans. You have killed more Americans than every terrorist organization in the world combined. And that's when President Trump gets back in office. He's going to designate you a terrorist organization, and he's going to wipe you off the face of the earth. You're done. You're done.
The idea that he is trying to say that we have people that are trying to invade our country to commit mass crime is a crisis of his own making. I specialize in transnational criminal organizations.
Yeah.
That wall ain't gonna stop them.
No.
First of all, can we take a moment and say thank you, Lord, that we don't have to put up with that voice, that donkey laugh for the next 4 years? We don't have to put up with her word salads. I mean, the donkey has gone with the other. By the way, Trump is now guilty of eliminating 2 women on live television in front of the whole world to watch. That's abuse. He spanked 2 women on live TV. I mean, how's he still walking? By the way, that's a Hillary and Kamala reference.
There's a 600% increase in sex trafficking of women and children. Border Patrol has arrested more terrorists coming across the border in 1 month than Trump had in 4 years. This is the biggest national security vulnerability this country's ever had. Donald Trump would be the president. I'll be in the middle of running the biggest deportation operation this country's ever seen.
I am not for a wall. We don't need to build a wall. This is a crisis of his own making. The president of the United States has a vanity project that he doesn't want to give up. It's the president's vanity project. This issue is about a vanity project for this president.
Right.
The president's vanity project? Let me be very clear. I'm not going to vote for a wall under any circumstances. It will not end with a wall. It will not end with a wall.
It will not end with a wall?
No.
All right.
He comes back, I come back, we fix this shit.
Now, I like that. You know what I mean? As an immigrant myself, as a legal immigrant who came here legally, I'm for mass deportation. I'm for mass deportation. These immigrants, now, be it, I was only 5 when we immigrated here. We came here legally, no handouts. Dad started a roofing job like a week after we got here. A family of 6 with only $39 to our name. And then we built a great life here thanks to the opportunities given to us. Where am I from? I was born in, so my grandparents are all Russian, Ukrainian, and from the Soviet Union. I was born in Kyrgyzstan. It's a small, landlocked country between Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, China. It touches a little bit of China. It's like just a small population of like 7 million. Right? But we came here legally. We're citizens. My children were all born here, right? All 4 of my children. They only speak English. The citizens that come here now are different. They're waving their Ukraine flag. They're waving their Russia flag. They're waving. Now, I don't mind you being proud of where you came from, even though I don't get it. How can you be proud of a country that sucked so much that you left that country and came here? I'm not proud of Kyrgyzstan. I'm not proud of Russia or Ukraine. Those countries are shitholes. If they weren't, I wouldn't be here today. But thank God Almighty for the United States of America, to where if you want to chase the American dream, you can fill out paperwork, go through an evaluation process. Then if you qualify, you can sell everything, buy plane tickets, get here, apply for a job, start working and building a life. These people come here, they want free cell phones, they want EBT, they want housing assistance, they want money, they want cash, they don't want to work, they want to fly their gay flags. You know, the yellow and blue. It's like a quarter of the rainbow. But they worry about what's happening over in their country. If you're here, forget about the shithole you came from and do everything you can that when you leave to go to be with the Lord forever, that the country you entered, you make sure you make it just a little bit better than how it was when you got here, so that your children, and you make sure you tell your children about where you came from, why you fled that country. My family and I, we fled here, number one, poverty, hunger, poverty, lack, no education, nothing. But number two, we as Christians, we as like minorities, whites plus Christians in a Central Asian Muslim country, if you want to talk about injustice, racism, go to Kyrgyzstan as a white Christian. Go to Afghanistan as a white Christian. Then you can talk about racism and prejudice and harassment just because of your belief and your skin color. With that being said, Russians and like Ukrainians, Slavics, many are like, no, here's the thing. I want to point this out. It's okay to have those flags and at least be proud of where you came from and what past generations went through. Like the Russian Empire was a powerful and was a great empire, but it collapsed. You can be proud that your family was part of that. But when you see these immigrants come here and fly their flag, but they don't even have an American flag next to it, that's disrespect. That is, if you're going to fly your flag, also have an American flag next to it. Right? These people flying their Ukrainian flags and their whatever flags, it's I don't know. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, here's what Donald Trump is doing. He's shaking up Washington, D.C. He's coming in, and I love Matt Gaetz. Oh my goodness, you have no idea how happy I am. Matt Gaetz is actually, we went from a scumbag by the name of Bill Barr. Matt Gaetz was on the Benny Johnson show 2 days ago. And he said, if I'm Attorney General, I am going to open up the Epstein. He said, I'm going to investigate 2020 because Bill Barr said he was going to do it, but never did. He said, I'm going to investigate 2020 and and if we find out that it was really what we believe it was, people are going to go to prison. He said, that is prison for a long, long time. Number two, he said, the Epstein, death. He said, well, I'm going to drag Bill Barr and I'm going to have him sit there for a 20-hour deposition and answer everything he knows because he covered it up. He said, and if he truly covered it up the way I think he did, Bill Barr's going to prison. Matt Gaetz is not scared of anybody, and this is what we need. Number two, ladies and gentlemen, for the last 4 years, I focused on the election, right? That was my whole thing. The morning after the election, I was kind of lost. I was like, what kind of content do I make now? What do I do? I'm out of ideas because the last 4 years of my life, literally, was spent for November 5th, 2024. November 6th, that was kind of, what do I do? Where do I go? What kind of content do I make? I'm going to cover Trump's. Here's what I'm going to do. Number one, I'm going to cover what Trump is doing, right? Things that we won't really hear from the mainstream news. Number two, I'm going to be focusing on the Republicans. If somebody is going to vote against Matt Gaetz in the Senate confirmation, I am going to scream loud and clear their name, that they are a traitor to us, we the people, because we the people elected Trump to do what he promised to do. And if you go against a Trump nomination in the Senate and you're a Republican, I am going to focus my energy to make sure you are primaried out. We are going to go to your state, to your district, to wherever you are from, and we are going to find someone who's going to stand with Trump, and we are going to fund them. We are going to give them interviews, coverage. I'm going to take them to Benny Johnson, Charlie Kirk, everywhere, so that their face is recognized and known. And we're going to take that MAGA candidate in your district and in your state, and we are going to finance him or her to primary you out, and so that real MAGA, America First candidates win in the midterms. So to any Republican congressman, woman, or senator, if you don't want to be primaried in just 2 short years, you better get in line with Trump's plan. We are not playing games this time around. 2017 through 2020, I'm sorry, but we bent backwards for the rhinos and the Dems. Not anymore. You either nominate all of Trump's picks, or I will go along with Benny Johnson, Charlie Kirk. Elon Musk even said he's down for this. We're going to go to your district, to your state, find a candidate that is willing to stand up and fight with Trump, on the side of Trump, for the American people, and take down the swamp. And we will run them against you. We will fund them against you. We will give them a voice and make sure you can't go on anywhere except Fox, but nobody watches Fox. Choose, Republicans. Choose. You either get in line and go with the plan that the American people voted for. We gave Trump the Electoral College and the popular vote. We gave him the Senate and the House. You better nominate everyone he says. You better give him all the go-ahead. Matt Gaetz better be in. Tulsi Gabbard better be in. Rubio better be in. They all better be in like Trump said. Or we will primary you. I will personally fly to your state and your district and spend money against you. And my supporters, trust me, we're in this together. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the next 2-4 years, covering everything Trump is doing, the good, the bad, the great, the amazing. Talk about the economy, how he's going to end these wars. And I'm going to be following every single congressman, woman, and senator that are Republicans. And if any of them want to go against Trump's agenda, we will primary them. We will make sure there's a person, there's funding, and a platform to make sure all the rhinos are out. That's what we're going to be doing, ladies and gentlemen. All of that. We're going to continue. Again, ladies and gentlemen, before I go, a big shout out to Verity Metals. Right now is a great time to invest in physical gold and silver. This is the ultimate anti-inflation, anti-bank collapse, and anti-dollar collapse currency. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. All you do is take a piece of paper and you convert it into real money. Money that can't collapse, money that they can't print out of thin air, then send to Ukraine and make you pay for it. So go to veritymetals.com or call my good friend Matthew Geiger at 480-717-9081 today. Tell him Vlad sent you. He'll give you free silver on qualifying orders. Make sure to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, share it with a friend or two. Trump 2024. I keep trying to say Trump 2024 sooner. And Trump won.